Martin is one of my favourite acoustic brands, but with the SC series, they threw tradition to the wind. So let's dig in and see exactly what makes these bad boys different. Well, just about every single component except the headstock shape has been tweaked on these to make them more ergonomic and more playable, creating a more contemporary acoustic guitar overall. So let's dig in and see exactly what separates this out from the more traditional models to stand the SC series truly apart from the rest. And we'll start with the neck. One of the first things you'll notice, and I noticed when playing these, is how much like an electric the neck feels. Now that's because it's got a completely new neck profile, which is really fast, really playable. It's got a satiny finish, so it's quick to play as well. But as soon as you slide your hand up, you'll feel your left hand going higher than you might expect on an acoustic guitar. And that is thanks to the patented Shore Align neck design. Now what they've essentially done here is combine two traditional methods of joining a neck to an acoustic body. So this is glued in, like the traditional set neck you might expect from Martin. However, they've also added the presence of two bolts here and here. Now this is very, very innovative and very cool, because what it essentially allows is more stability, because you're getting the stability of both bolts and glue. And what that actually allows is them to take off a lot more wood at the top end of the neck and make this kind of neck joint really, really smooth and playable, to give you actually unrivaled access to these upper frets. So actually getting up here and playing parts higher in the neck has never been easier. So that's really cool. And along with the kind of, as I say, the newer, more modern neck profile combined to give you a really sleek playing experience on the neck itself. So that's dead cool. And then Captain Obvious, you've got the offset body shape. Now, I think this looks really cool and kind of aesthetically separates these models out from a lot of other acoustic types. And I think acoustics can often fall into the trap of looking quite similar, certainly more than a lot of electrics, especially when a lot of them are natural, like the one in my hand. And instantly, this is a way of just giving these something a really cool, fresh look that does stand them out. However, as is the case with the neck, there is quite a lot going on under the hood. So, this has the tone tension X bracing system on the inside, and there's a chance you can see it through the sound hole here. And again, this has been very, very cleverly engineered with the tonal side of things in mind. So, on the treble side, the bracing is scalloped. And what that essentially allows is more resonance. And then the bass side, they've actually tapered, which allows more low-end prominence, which essentially creates a sound that is bigger than the body size suggests. It sounds like a super jumbo. But I think it's super cool, and it separates the SC series out from pretty much anything else Martin makes. You've then, on the electronic side, quickly, you've got the E1 system in this one, which is super, super cool. And one of my favourite things about this is that even though this model is electro-acoustic, you do away with the control panel here, which some people consider an eyesore. And for a premium brand like Martin, lets you retain the kind of premium acoustic cosmetic and the smoothness, and there's no kind of plate in the way. But you also have a built-in tuner, which is dead cool, and it's just on the inside. So actually using it's really cool, because where you sit with the guitar naturally, it's right in your eye line. So it's not obstructing anything, really usable. And again, the electronic side, then the E1 system, we know, if you've probably seen it before. If you're familiar with Martins, you know that it sounds fantastic and gives you a lot of clarity and articulation. So all of these features combine, essentially, as I said, to deliver something more modern, more ergonomic, more playable, but something that you're not sacrificing anything tonally either. It's just giving you more options, basically. So we should then touch on how these sound. I've got a few of the other models in the series, so you can compare and contrast and see what the different wood choices, which I'll go through as well, offer you. But we'll start with the Spruce in my hand. So this is a solid spruce top with Sepele back and sides. And as I say, I think what you're going to notice when I play this is how big it sounds. It certainly sounds like that in the room, to the point you just first drum it and you go, ooh. And it sounds excellent, so. So yeah, it sounds fantastic, it sounds big, but I could be fooled into thinking, not tonally, just in terms of playability, that I was playing an electric there. It's got a very low action straight out of the box. This thing actually, when we unboxed it earlier, came out of the box in tune, which blows my mind, but just shows the care and attention that's been paid. And it's just a very fast, sleek, playing neck, which you wouldn't expect from an acoustic style like this, especially not one that then sounds like a super jumbo. So that's really, really cool, and it sounds massive. But then I can imagine equally for quick runs. Again, it kind of marries those two ideas and lets you just do more in terms of your playing, I guess, than you might expect from an acoustic, which is wicked. But let's go to the all Sepele model to my left. And I'll just quickly say that the way we've set them up, that these models actually go up in price. So we'll start with the most affordable and work our way to the specials afterwards, because we've kind of done this one now. So a lot of the same stuff going on with this one. As I said, this has got the Fishman electronics in it, which is a lovely touch. But I really like the kind of the look of the all Sepele on this one. If I flip it up the neck as well, looks dead cool. And just stands it out from, as we were saying before, there's kind of the old beige thing can sometimes start to look a bit the same, and I think dark wood always separates out. So this looks really cool, but just quickly tonally, it's going to give you a lot of the same stuff as well. So to my ears, that's not quite as big sounding as with the Spruce, which kind of makes sense if you think about the woods and what they're doing. But it's still really kind of resonant sounding, and certainly in the room, at least I hope that translates. And as I say, these necks are just rapid, for lack of a better term, and incredibly playable. This is kind of, there's some acoustics that sound amazing, but you can feel the fatigue after playing them for a little bit, especially if they've got slightly high action or whatever. It's normally worth it for the tone, but that's ideally a trade-off that you don't want to be making. And I think it's quite nice that this series allows you to balance the best of both worlds, essentially. It sounds massive, but then it's super, super sleek, and like I say, you can almost forget. It's like you're playing a hollow body or something like that, an electric, which is a real accolade to mine, to be fair. Fair play for achieving that. And now we'll move up to the specials, which you can see cosmetically stand themselves out. I'll grab the burst just because that's something a little bit different, and we'll see what they're about, because they've got different woods and stuff, so they're, again, offering something fresh. Right, so I've just given this a quick tune, and some of the first things that I've noticed actually are, number one, is this fantastic burst. One of my pet peeves is quite sharp gradient burst, so it's flat, 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 and then at the very edge just goes from light to dark really quickly. And I think it tends to look cheap. This is the complete reverse. This is a very smooth gradient and gives it a really high-end look, I think. Equally, the white binding on these, which matches with the kind of mixture of kind of pearl and natural wood in the rosette, looks amazing. The different inlays, I think, looks more premium than just dots. And then, as I say, with the tuning, you've got the open gear tuners with the different tuning pegs, which are really vintagey, but you really don't see many like these. It's a Actually, if I just show the camera, it'd be remiss. Really, really cool. As I say, not something you see too often, it's something I'm quickly, as soon as I got hands on them, I went, hang on, they're wicked, they're really cool. So there's a few things here that cosmetically stand out, the SC13E specials, which both these two are out. And now if I just flip it, these have the zero coat back and sides, which sounds great, but looks staggering, as many of you'll know. So there you go. However, under the hood, like all the SC models, these are largely trying to achieve the same thing. So if I give this a quick play. I've just done all the playing examples in E major, so there's a little bit of A, B, and if you just want to bounce between them, I promise I do know more keys than that. So yeah, as you can hear, I think I'm really, really impressed by this series in terms of how the concept meets the execution. So the idea of being, of wanting to make the sound that these emit sounding bigger than the bodies might suggest or allow. It's nice to sit in the room with them and kind of just hit a big open E chord and hear that realised, because they do sound massive, and I hope that translates, because in the room that's absolutely true. But coupled, as I say, with some of the aesthetic features and cosmetic touches to just separate the higher end models out, like you guitar design works, you know, and that's the same for electrics, whatever. It's a really, really nice touch. As I say, the necks, if you kind of shut your eyes, it'd be... They feel kind of like 50s electric neck profiles, maybe 60s. They're not kind of, you know, super sleek, super shreddery type, but they're very fast, they're very playable. As I say, quick runs made very, very easy. Which might actually open them up to a different type of player. If playability is high up on your priority list for an acoustic, then these are absolutely worth looking at. But especially, as I say, because you're not sacrificing the tone, that is normally a trade-off you're having to make somewhere along the line. So a series that allows you to not do that and deliver the best of both worlds is always going to be of interest, I think. And it's nice to say that each one of these, I think, has achieved that. I'm not looking at anyone going, and one that does. I think they all achieve it really well. So my first impressions with the SCs today is get a big thumbs up. And then, as I say, you've got a few cosmetic differences that separate out the different electronics. But yeah, and it's choosing the one that's right for you. But hopefully that's got you a bit excited, wet your whistle a little bit for the Martin SC series. As I say, I think if you look at these, you might just go, oh, it's a Martin with an offset body. But actually, hopefully, as we've explained here, there's a little bit, well, there's not a little bit, there's a lot more going on than that, including some kind of really, really innovative and cool design features that we may well see extend well beyond. And it's quite exciting to see, well, if this is the start of Martin trying to make their most playable guitar, to see where that venture will end up. So yeah, hang around for whenever they come out, because I'll be sure to do a video on those as well. I've been Tom, thank you ever so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.